So I wanted to make a interesting comparison between the iPhone 15 and the new lower price Motorola Razr that's available at prepaid carriers for an unbelievable price. So let's go ahead and get started. So the iPhone 15 is the standard $800 iPhone flagship. The Motorola Razr, which is being sold at only $200. That's right, you can get this phone prepaid on Cricket, Metro, Boost, and you can get it for $200 for a foldable phone. So finally, we have the budget foldable phone if you want one, for people that normally did not get them either for the price or because they didn't want to go to a postpaid carrier. So now you can get this phone readily available, but it does have some drawbacks. It's not a super flagship like the iPhone 15. It's not doesn't have flagship spec. So the weight between these devices are almost the same. The iPhone weighs a little bit less than the Motorola, 171 grams to 188 grams. They're both under 7 ounces. Build quality is different though. The iPhone retains that premium build quality, glass front, glass back, aluminum frame, while the Motorola is pretty much a plastic device all around when it's folded and when it's unfolded. But it does have a aluminum frame, and the hinge system is made out of stainless steel. Take it for what you will, but the Motorola doesn't feel premium. It's going to be a plasticky type of device. Both of these have eSIM technology. One difference though is the iPhone does have a real dust and water resistance, while the Motorola has only a water repellent coating, so it's only gonna withstand splashes in the rain. Now the display is what really makes these devices different. 6.1 inches on the iPhone 15, while unfolded, the Motorola has a 6.9 inch display. And it also has 144 hertz refresh rate, while the iPhone 15 has that old school slow 60 hertz. So a big win for the Motorola right there. And similar PPI resolution as well on these devices, around 461 for the iPhone, 413 for the Motorola. Now the second display on the Motorola, which is when you fold it up, has a second external AMOLED display. It's 1.5 inches, so very tiny. You're not gonna get a lot of information on the screen, but you do have a second screen. So when you fold it up, it'll give you some quick information. And this differs from the other foldable Razrs from Motorola. They have bigger, more display screens, and they show you way more information. So this is what makes this device lesser than those, and probably that's the reason why it's cheaper as well. The iPhone has the up-to-date software, iOS 17. The Motorola has Android 13, so it's lacking behind a little bit, but it has a stock Android feeling. Chipset, iPhone has the A16 Bionic, while the Motorola has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 7th Gen. Neither of these have expandable storage, but they both start off at 128 gigs, 6 gigs of RAM for the iPhone, 8 gigs for the Motorola. For the camera systems, the iPhone 15 has the 48 megapixel main camera, 12 megapixel ultra wide. Motorola 64 megapixel main camera, 13 megapixel ultra wide. So similar two camera setup, both shooting at 4K, but honestly the iPhone will always take better pictures, best in class. The Motorola, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people can agree with me, is that the camera system is not up to par, not even with Samsung, and let alone iPhones. So yeah, it's a safe bet that this camera on the Motorola is trash. For the selfie camera, it's 12 megapixels on the iPhone, 32 megapixels on the Motorola, and the selfie camera shoots in 4K, which is, that's pretty good. You don't get a headphone jack on either of these devices. Bluetooth, both of them have 5.3 Bluetooth. And they both have USB Type-C, which is the new addition to the iPhone, going away from Lightning port. For the unlocking, you have Face ID on the iPhone. The Motorola has a side-mounted fingerprint reader. So battery-wise, the iPhone has a 3350 milliamp battery, while the Motorola has a bigger 4200 milliamp battery. Both of these will pretty much give you mostly all-day battery life. The iPhone has fast charging, has 15-watt wireless MagSafe charging, 7.5 watts wireless Qi charging, and a newly added 4.5 wired reverse charging. The Motorola has 30-watt regular charging, and also very slow 5-watt wireless. So, in overall thoughts is going to be that the iPhone 15 is an overall better device. It's a flagship. It has pretty much all the standard bells and whistles that make it great. But the interesting part of the Motorola is that you finally get a foldable phone at a very affordable price. $200 is just very hard to pass up. So if you finally wanted to make a switch but thought it was too expensive, you finally get to do it now at $200 when you go prepaid. And that price is even good, even for a non-foldable phone with good specs. So the specs aren't terribly good on the Motorola, but you do have that second screen when it's folded up. It's very small, but you know, it's there. It's going to be a very different experience for you if you're tired of the same boring Android candy bar shape. There's not much manufacturers could do now, but if you want to just have that foldable feature, I mean, it's there, it's different. It definitely will make you want to play with the device, opening and closing, and it's just gonna feel a little bit different. But it's a Motorola phone, and you're going to get the same type of features as any other cheapo Motorola device. The nice thing though is you got 144 hertz refresh rate, so you got like 3 good things going for it. Is the price, the foldability, and that 144 hertz refresh rate. Other than that, all the specs are pretty much either mediocre or okay. So yeah, there you have it. I mean, the specs are there for the iPhone. You're gonna get the bare minimum pretty much experience on the Motorola, except for those 3 features that I had mentioned. But for that price, I think it is kind of worth it. The plastic doesn't help, but you know, you want to try something different, the Motorola's there to keep you busy.